I'm Susan. Welcome to Tea and Games. The tea today is builders. I have been out of practice on making videos, and I think I've actually forgotten to say what the tea is in the last couple of videos, but I do tend to put them in the notes. It's good and hot. It may be too hot for me to drink right at this moment. So today, yes, disclaimer. Because I'm going to be talking about a lot of games, I need to say right up front, I'm not a professional content creator. Publishers do not send me free crap to promote. I don't do that thing. I don't want to do that thing. So anything that you see here is stuff that I bought myself. Occasionally I'll get a freebie from something, but it's not like a promotional freebie that they expect me to promote. I've actually got 2 games here that came from a publisher, but they were freebies from Peloton, which I discussed in my previous video. Peloton, I forgot to actually mention those games because we have not played them. But most of these we have played. A funny thing happened. I haven't been buying a lot of games. We bought a bunch of games right before Christmas and right after Christmas. But then, it's like we haven't really bought, I think I bought like a couple of games on impulse in the past 6 months. One of which was very, very small and light. I'm not even sure if we're going to keep it, but Peloton kind of opened the floodgates for game purchasing again, because after Peloton, we wanted to get the games that we played there that we liked. Previous video, I talk about the games we played there. So we tried to order them from our local game store, and they couldn't get most of them. They have ordered Castles of Burgundy. You do not see Castles of Burgundy in the stack in front of me. It still hasn't come. It's been over a month. But the other games that we went ahead and we got elsewhere because they weren't able to get them. And that kind of started something in terms of buying things, because it's like, well, if I buy them online, then I need to fill out the order, or at least look and see if there's anything on my list that I could use. Although I never buy enough to get free shipping, let's face it. But nevertheless, single order. So I've got a few more things. And also there's a few games that are Peloton related games that I got at Peloton that I didn't mention in the previous video, because the previous video talked about games we played there. These are games we got there. So let's run through the Peloton list first. Okay, in the previous game, previous video about Peloton 2026, I talked quite a lot about Chicken, which is a very, very fun dice chucking game designed by Scott Alms. So I'm not going to say a whole lot about that because I talked about it so much in the Peloton 2026 game, because we played this a bunch at Peloton. Well, upon arrival, we got a goodie bag. And the goodie bag had 2 freebie card games. Motley, which is from Weird Giraffe Games. I believe this is a party game. We haven't cracked it open yet, which is unusual for me. Usually I open everything as soon as I get it. I inventory things, I punch things, I organize things, because I have had occasions where stuff was not there or components were like badly mauled, printed, wrong stuff. I've had enough misadventures with components that I now tend to just always crack everything open, go through everything as soon as I get it. But I haven't with these 2 yet. So Motley is still in shrink. It is a party game. And of course the ubiquitous Flip 7, which I think probably Robert and I were the only human beings on earth that does not have this game now. It has a minimum of 3 players. I have played it on BGA. Ooh, shiny. The light catching the iridescence on the cover. I have played this on Board Game Arena. I was not terribly impressed with it, but that could have been the nature of playing it digitally. And particularly it was, I believe, turn-based. But we've got our own copy. Actually, we've got 2 copies. We're probably going to give one to friends if we can find anybody that doesn't already have a copy. But yeah, we will probably give this to a friend. and still keep one copy for ourselves, assuming that we can ever get 3 people at the table who want to play it, because it has a minimum of 3, which is the kiss of death for games around this household, because our primary player count is 2. We sometimes play at 3 or 4 or 5, but that doesn't happen very often. So those games are not ever going to be on hot rotation if they need higher player counts. I might also add Chicken plays up to 8, and it plays really good even at 2. But yes, these were Pelican Games 2 freebies that publishers donated to be given away in the goodie bag. Chicken, Deadly Dowagers, which I talked about a lot in the Pelican video. We got our own copy now. It was on the way, ordered but not arrived at the time I made that video, and we have already played it. I finally won a game. Yes! I finally succeeded in killing off my husband and marrying the Duke. This is highly entertaining in terms of theme and table talk. Which again, I talk about in the Pelican 2026 video, which I'm recording this actually a week before I'm going to post it, which means that the day that I'm recording this is the day the video about Pelican went live on YouTube. And we also played Eastern Wonders at Pelican, which this past weekend we did play back-to-back with Century Spice Road. We still think we like Eastern Wonders better. So I may talk a bit more about that when I get to a Things We Are Playing video, which should be coming up. But yeah, we like Eastern Wonders a lot. The other Pelican game I did not mention in my Pelican video, oh, I've got an eyelash in my eye, I think. It's something we bought at Pelican but did not play until we got home. And it is Tavern Masters 10th Anniversary Edition. And I'd never heard of this game. But then, hey, I'm not a big hot board gamer. I'm just like average person. Maybe this is something hot that somehow or other I never stumbled across. You play as innkeepers, and you are managing the inn. You have 2 decks of cards. One is it's a card game. One is the tavern deck, in which you get cards and you play them by paying for them into your tavern. You can have goods or staff. And then the next phase, the night phase, is the patron phase, in which you get patron cards, and you can only play patron cards if you have in your tavern row that you played out. Oh, I've got something in my eye. In the tavern row you played out, if you have what that patron wants. They have a banner at the bottom that says wants. And so you can play them out if you have what they want. And you score a coin for each patron in your tavern. And there may also be additional scoring from your tavern cards as well, like an extra coin if you have ale patrons in your tavern when it comes to the accounting at the end of the round. But here's the trick. There are further icons here besides, like, there are other icons here that represent, you can kind of see the cards here, that represent patrons and taverns, things like up here in the corner. I can't actually see what I'm pointing at here. The patrons will stick around in your tavern for another round and a round after that and a round after that, as long as you have not what they want but what they like. To play them down, you have to have what they want. But likes are a separate thing. Like, they may like entertainment, or like gambling, or like food or drink, or like other mages, something like that. And if their likes match likes that are in your tavern, then you can keep them. And that means that you can score them again in the next round and the next round after that, as long as you still have the thing that they like in your tavern. Otherwise, if you don't have what they like in your tavern, they go away. You put out more tavern cards in the next round, play out and pay for more things in your tavern row, and then you get the patron deck, and you can play down patrons if you can match their wants. It's a nice little card building game. It's got multiple modes that you can play. You can play competitively up to a certain amount of points, which is money. You can play competitively up to a certain number of rounds, and there's a round tracker in here. You can play cooperatively, which we haven't tried yet. But it's a very short, fast, light card game. And we both really like the artwork. It's a good filler game. Very, very light. Not thinky at all, I would say, in many ways. But it's enjoyable. I would probably not rank it like super high, but yeah, it scratches a very particular itch, I guess you might say. And so that covers all of the things that we got that are related to Pelican. This we got at Pelican, these two we got at Pelican, and Deadly Dowagers, Century Eastern Wonders, and Chicken, with an exclamation point no less, are games that we played and then got. But that kind of triggered a little bit more buying because, I don't know, it's like once I start buying games, I see more games I want to buy. At the time we ordered something, I can't remember now which one, I saw that because I looked around to see if there was anything else I could put in my cart. I saw that Cafe and Expresso was available. This is a nifty, I mean truly nifty little small box game. I first heard about it from Board Game Beans. Shout out to Christian and Joanna. Hi! And I will put a link to their video about Cafe. And there was also, I'm not sure, did we watch another video on that? Or maybe it was just that one. But we got Cafe and Expresso. And though it just says Cafe on the box, when you buy it, make sure that you get the Expresso expansion because that's just a little extra. Why the heck not? Later versions have the mini expansion Expresso in there. This is all there is in there. There's the rule book. You got some little bits here that represent different coffee beans. And you got cards. And the cards, you will be making a card tableau by laying out cards on the table and you overlap the cards. And the cards will look something like this. These are actually not the cards. These are the starred cards. I think they're not used in this. In the regular two-player version, you have your starting cards, which look like this. This tracks how many actions you have because you need to increase your number of actions. You really, really do. Don't just stick with your starting actions. And you also have a matching starting card. And this is the card that you start off laid out. You have different color coffee beans. You have drying and you have roasting. And there are also cards that have storefronts in there that you can put them in there. Or you can warehouse them on this card, which is also points. The coffee cup icon, this represents how many actions you get to take. So yeah, you need to manage your coffee cup so that you have enough actions. This is the cards from the Expresso expansion. They have some different icons on them. It says Expresso right in the center, so you don't get them mixed up. But it is so thinky and it is so fun. The first time I made a mess, I actually posted on Blue Sky, this is the world's most inefficient coffee operation because it's like if you place the drying squares next to a card that has another drying square when you overlap, then that means that you're basically, you can double up. You can use one action to dry in two separate squares. And the same thing with roasting. So it's just, you need to try to and beans. You have to have beans if you're going to be doing the bean thing, getting more beans. They have to be in orthogonally adjacent blocks. And you got to manage this when you're overlapping every card that you choose. And you do have a card layout that you can choose from. With a two-player game, there are 3 cards laid out. So there will be 1 card left over. So it's not like he picks one and then I'm stuck with the other one. That doesn't happen. You still kind of get stuck sometimes because somebody will get the card that you really want, but all the cards are pretty good. It's just all a matter of trying to figure out how to make it work. And that's part of the thing that makes things thinky. But we've already played this a couple of times, and I did much better in my second game, but this is nifty. I mean, this is a nice, thinky little game in a very small box. And because you are laying out these cards and they're overlapping, it doesn't take a ginormous amount of table space either. And I know that's often a consideration. It's like you buy a small box game and you crack it open and realize that this sucker's going to take up the whole table when it's laid out. That's not this game. This game has a modest footprint. But it is so very much fun. We are enjoying the heck out of it. I mean, obviously, I am more of a tea drinker than a coffee drinker. Just the right amount of hotness right now. I'm more of a tea drinker than a coffee drinker, but I do like a cup of coffee every now and then. And it's got... the artwork on it is, as you saw, fairly plain on the cards on the inside, but it's got great cover art, don't you think? Very kind of Art Deco. But yes, that is a huge amount of fun. I like it a lot, and I'm very, very glad I was able to get a hold of it. We have not played with the Expresso expansion yet, though. We were, I'm going to do these in some kind of order here. We were browsing half-price books, and I look at the games. I have occasionally gotten games really super cheap, and they were really excellent. It's like I find really brilliant games at a fairly modest price there sometimes. I've gotten some real good deals there and discovered some wonderful games. So I always go and look. And they had the map for Ticket to Ride Poland. This is not one of the Ticket to Ride map packs that have double-sided maps. This is actually numbered 6.5 because it does not have it's a one-sided map. And surprisingly, though we like Ticket to Ride and we have a number of different versions of it, we've got the anniversary edition of Europe, we've got the regular Ticket to Ride, we've got Nordic countries and Northern Lights, and Robert has London because I don't like that little map. But Poland also kind of has a little map. It is not as huge as, say, Europe or anything, and if you'll notice, the routes are really short. So the game plays with this map, it plays really fast. If we want to play Ticket to Ride and play a snappy version that doesn't aggravate me like the London version does, this is the one we're playing now. It's like, we wanted a short Ticket to Ride before, there wasn't one. Now there is, because this seems like it plays faster than some of the other ones. And one of each version of Ticket to Ride has some kind of something that's a little bit different in terms of the way things work or the way you get scoring. This has scoring cards, and there's a stack of them usually. There's one stack that only has one card in it, but there are scoring cards for cities that border Poland. And you lay these beside the board, and you have the highest value of that stack on top and goes down to the bottom. And so if you go to this, like complete that little bit of extra route from like this main city here, or whatever, like this city to that city, you go a little bit extra there, and then you can pick up a card by hitting that city that's outside the map. And so this is a way of basically getting point destination cards without that luck of the draw that you get from the destination cards. And particularly if you're like going to one of these cities that are fairly close to the edge of the map, it doesn't cost, just 2 or at most 3 more cards, depending upon where you ended up. But sometimes only 1 or 2 cards, just to go that little bit extra and pick up more points. And that's always a good thing, right? But we enjoyed this. I've read some stuff online, and I know that a lot of people go, meh, they don't like this because it's like, It's small and it's short and it's fast and it's light. And I'm going like, it's Ticket to Ride. What is your problem? So yeah, it's fun. I mean, it seems to us at 2 players, I might add, we are playing it at 2 players, that it plays fairly snappy. Because as I said, very short routes. You're not going to get, with this version, you're not going to get stuck in that way you can with other one, where you're doing basically an infinite draw trying to find one more card of a certain color. I mean, you are going to have to keep drawing sometimes to get a card of a color that you need. But as you can see, these routes they're very short. So there's just kind of a limit to how much trouble you can get into getting the cards you need. Also, the major cities here, some of these destinations have a lot of routes in and out. So the chances of getting seriously blocked and there's just no way you will make that destination because there's no way in or out of the city, particularly at lower player counts, that's a lot less likely to happen. So yeah, we enjoyed Ticket to Ride Poland, and it has now become one of those things that we grab when we want just like a light filler game. It does not have, as you can tell by like how thin this is just the map and the destination cards. It doesn't have all the components, which is a thing with map packs. You will need a base game of Ticket to Ride Europe or the regular Ticket to Ride so that you can use the train cards and the actual trains from those with this. But yeah, we've been playing this as an expansion for Ticket to Ride because our Ticket to Ride box is smaller than our anniversary Ticket to Ride Europe box. So it's like easier to just grab the regular Ticket to Ride stack. So weirdly enough, you will see plays of mine in which I am playing base Ticket to Ride, which is America, with Poland added on. That's, kind of geographically odd, but, it is what it is. So, yeah, we were watching, one of Chaz's videos over on Game Night Picks, and he mentioned this nifty little card game, Collect, and talked about how I played. And Robert's little ears perked up, and he just said, that looks like it could be fun. And we do love us a light, fast card game. Yes, we do. We've got probably way too many light, fast card games, but we now have another, Collect. Collect there's kind of a seesaw and paper kind of thing going on in the sense that you have cards with animals on them, and each one has a different kind of power or ability that's laid out in the icons below, though it is spelled out in the book. But essentially, you do it and you can do whatever it says on the bottom. The hermit crab, you can take another turn if you have a red crab in the deck. And that is the one thing that bugs me. I don't feel like they should have a hermit crab and a red crab in the deck because I find it slightly confusing. At first, we thought that the hermit crab, if you have it in your tableau, your line, that at first we thought that the hermit crab meant you could do with any crab, but no, it's just the red crab. Alligator, you destroy a card. Monkey, you can swap a card with another player. Crab, you can move the cards in your line or in another player's line. And this is important because the scoring conditions are you have to get 4 matching cards in a row, and you're putting them out in a line, and you're adding cards to either end. So a card that lets you shift cards to make those pairs and to line up 3, 4 in a row is a very handy card to have. Some of the cards, the parrot allows you to call out a card if you play the parrot and draw from the deck, and if you match the card, then you get to keep it. But yeah, they have a whole bunch of different abilities here, but there are a couple of cards that give you alternate scoring abilities rather than 4 in a row. The octopus, for instance, will allow you to score for pairs, 3 pairs. And the chameleon card is wild, which is very handy to have in your row because that can give you like the 3 or 4 that you need, or connect things. Like having it in the middle means you might be able to make like a third on this one and a pair on that one to see, you know, basically to see what's going to happen, like which one that you could fill out best. But if you get 2 chameleons, then you lose both of them. And you have 2 decks to draw from. And when you draw, you either keep the card or you put it onto one of the decks. And then you must take the card from the deck that you did not put it in. The lion is another one that has alternate scoring, 7 of any kind. So that will, and the chameleon is wild. I don't remember if I actually said that or if I just thought it in my head. The lion is another one with alternate scoring. It can be used for pairs or 4 in a row, but if you just can't do that, if you can get 7 different kinds in a row, you can win. So yeah, it's a simple, fast card game. When you win a round, you get a half crown. And it plays, I think, up to 5. If you win a round, you get a half crown. And then you play another round. And the first one to get a full point. Each one of these is a half point. That's why my scoring is so low on this, you know, 0 or a half point if I lose, 1 point if I win. So like he wins 1, he gets a half point. I win 1, I get a half point. The third round, basically whoever wins will get the second half point and win the game. If you're playing with more players, it gets trickier. Not just in terms of the drawing and putting cards back into the deck and messing with other players, like moving some of their cards around, but like first round, that player wins. Second round, second player wins. Third round, third player wins. So that means you play a 4th round, and the way the rules say it is if there are no more half crowns left, then whoever wins will get the whole crown. So if you're playing with 4 players and the winning each time a different person wins the round, then that means, 1, whoever wins the 4th round will win the game. But it also means that the person who has not won any rounds has the potential of taking it all. So yeah, the scoring on it, I think, is going to make it really interesting to play with more than 2, though it plays just fine at 2. I do think, though, that it's probably going to shine more at a higher player count, and I just put everything into the top, into the lid of the box instead of the bottom. So yeah, we picked up a light card game. Just, Robert thought it looked good, I thought it looked good, so yeah, and we've been playing that just to kill time, a little one every now and then. And finally, da-da-dum, the big thing. Lowlands. This is not a new game. I think it came out in 2018. Yeah, 2018. But I've just been seeing it like over the years, and there's just something about this cover art. The sheep and the pile up of the storm clouds at sunset in the back. And so much so that that's what really stuck in my head, more so than the people who are building the dike down here. But the cover artwork is so compelling. It's like I could see it in my head, even if I hadn't seen the game around anywhere for years. So it kind of has always been stuck in my head. This is one of those cases where the cover art really did sell the game, to the extent that I finally said, okay, maybe I should just like look at a video or something and find out how the game actually plays, because all I know is that I love the cover art. And just loving the cover art is not enough to get a game. So I looked at it. Let me sit it up here so you can see the beautiful cover art while I'm talking. So I looked at it, and it's basically an Uwe Rosenberg farming game that was not designed by Uwe Rosenberg. This is part of a series of games that he sort of endorses and consulted on the design. The actual designer is C&R Partenheimer. To give due credit to the designer, because they did a good job. We played it this weekend, and yeah, this is a winner. A lot of people say it does not play well at 2, And I think how well it plays at 2 depends upon what you want out of the game. Robert and I are fine with it, and that's good because we usually play at 2. It has a semi-co-op aspect, which is only one aspect of the game, and that is that you must build a dike up here, see? You must build a dike to hold back the water. And you have cards up here that you'll be turning over that says how many water tokens come out. And you need to spend actions. One of the actions that your workers may be taking will be contributing to building the dike to keep the water out. You need to keep the dike pieces across and pieces up ahead of the rows of waves, which will also be stacked as the game goes on. I feel like it's maybe easier to do this at 2 players, or maybe it's just that Robert and I are better at it than, 2 players because the semi-co-op thing, and we like co-op. Because one person will take the dike action and they will ask if the other person wants to contribute to it. And that person will get a chance to contribute resources to the dike and help build it. The dike board for 2 players is smaller than for other players. So that also, I think, made it easier at 2 players to get that dike built and stay ahead of the waves. Or maybe we just had a very easy game. They tell you for your first game to keep the level 6 water card out of the deck, and we did. It'll be interesting to see if we can stay ahead of it with that card as one of the ones that we might possibly get. You don't use all of the water cards. We still had a couple left over at the end of the game. But still, the odds are that we would get that level 6 card. So that could be pretty hairy. Mostly, you're sheep farmers. Yes, sheep farmers. And the little sheep are very nice. You're building fences. You're enclosing pastures for your sheep. You have fence building actions, you have card drawing actions because cards are resources you use for the fences and for the dikes. Also, there are resources that you can use to buy features which are green or buildings, very Agricola-like in many ways. And I went all in on buildings and features that would help me store more sheep because you can only put 1 sheep per square in this grid. And the sheep breed. Every 2 sheep produces 1 more sheep. So you can quickly end up to your neck in sheep. And if when it comes time for breeding, you don't have enough spaces to put the sheep you're going to be gaining, then you don't get those sheep. There's also a sheep market in which you can buy sheep to put into your pasture or sell sheep. And there is a marker here where, depending upon how well you're doing with the dike, that's going to move up and down, and that's going to change the value of what's going to change the points that you're going to get from that at the end, but it's also going to change the value of the sheep that you're buying and selling. It's going to be dependent upon where that marker is. So, whether or not you're buying or selling sheep in the sheep market is going to depend upon how well you think that you're going to do with the dike, because that's going to affect the worth of the sheep. If it looks like that you're doing poorly with the dike, then you're going to make a different choice on the sheep market than if you think that you're doing really well with the dike and the value of the sheep is going to go up. So yeah. Lowlands. If you like Uwe Rosenberg farming games, I got this one from Geek Market on BGG. Really good seller, had a good buying experience, and this is the first thing I bought through Geek Market. It cost me $32 with shipping included, and it was worth every penny. We are going to get our money's worth. We're going to play this often enough that it will definitely be worthwhile, because we enjoyed the heck out of it. And also, thinking about it, I feel like we kind of need a game like this in our collection because we have a couple of Uwe Rosenberg farming games, and they are both 2-player only games. We have All Creatures Big and Small, which is the Agricola All Creatures Big and Small, which is the 2-player version of Agricola. I got the big box of that because it's got lots of buildings. Ooh, buildings. And then we've got Fields of Arle. which we both really, really like a lot. But again, two-player game. So, so the idea that I feel like having a farming game that is an Uwe Rosenberg style farming game that can play more than two players is probably not a bad choice just in general, because if we want to play a farming game with anybody else, we just didn't have anything where we could do it. So yeah, and we need to play Agricola, All Creatures Big and Small again sometime soon, because when we played Fields of Arle, we're going like, oh, I like this so much better than All Creatures Big and Small, although it had been a while since we played that. And this one, we're saying the same thing, and I'm going like, okay, this is really not fair, because we have not played that game in ages. We need to play it again, and we need to play it more before we keep saying that every game is better than that. But yeah, this is a solid choice. We are very, very happy with this, and we really enjoyed playing it this past weekend. So that is our game haul. It is small-ish, kind of small. A lot of the boxes are small. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of the games are definitely small box games. So small, right? Right? But anyhow, I thought I would bring you up to date on my little game buying binge. And don't forget, Castles of Burgundy is included in this game buying binge, even though it seems like it's just not getting here from wherever our local game store is ordering it. But yeah, that should be included too here. But that's it for the small haul, and I will talk more probably about these games and some others we've been playing lately in an upcoming video. But my next video, I believe, will be Rolling Reggie's mid-year game challenge, and I've already started working on my answers, and it's going to be interesting. So I will see y'all next time around the table. Oh, and don't mind the clutter behind me. We're moving stuff out of the guest room here and there, going to put some more calyxes in there. So you may see things piled, games piled behind me in videos. I'm going to make as many videos as I can while I'm feeling well and space them out at 1-week intervals, which is what my usual schedule used to be. So I'll see y'all next time around the table. Bye.